Hello, Scott. Good to see you. Brand new numbers, brand new model. You had to put this thing on hold for a minute after Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Explain to me what it does before we dive into some of the numbers here.
Yeah, so what we had to look at is we had to reset all the polling. And so a lot of new polling came out after Joe Biden dropped out, and the polling looked a lot better for Kamala Harris than it did for Joe Biden. And so that's the reset there. The other thing that happened is RFK dropped out and, again, had to recalibrate it there. But what you're looking at is basically a whole new presidential race, and it's razor thin.
A whole new race, razor thin, but it's a toss-up, right? Like, I laid out for you the movement there from Kamala Harris. And if all of this were to be accurate, you're looking at a win for her at 276. But both sides have a story to tell, do they not?
Both sides have a story. If I were either side, I would not look at these numbers comfortably. I would look at them as an opportunity to change the map if you're Donald Trump, and I would look at this as too close a margin to take anything for granted if you're the Harris campaign.
So let's go into these swing states. The blue wall, as of right now, is blue. And then when you head throughout the other 4 key states, that's where Donald Trump is favored in 3. What does that tell you right now, Scott? You've been digging into this and looking through this for days now. What does it tell you?
It tells me that the biggest shift in the race is in the Rust Belt, as we call it. When we were having this conversation 6-7 weeks ago, Donald Trump had the slight lead in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and that is switched. Now it could always switch back. There's 75 days to go, but that's probably the biggest shift. And the winner of the presidency is probably going to win those 3 states, or at least the majority of those 3 states. That's really where this race is going to be won or lost.
What's the most important one? Or 2?
Most important one is Michigan. Whoever wins Michigan has about a 90% chance of being the next president.
Either or, it doesn't matter whether it's Trump or Harris. Either one is essentially at that number.
Correct. That's the keystone right there. No pun intended to our former favorite state, Pennsylvania. But that one, it's highly correlated. Whoever wins Michigan's probably going to win Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and that's the easiest path to 270.
All right. To the beautiful building behind me here, because the presidential race is obviously the big one, but only part of it. 67% probability at this point in time that the Senate flips. But you're basically talking about, speaking of flip, a coin flip in the House, right?
Exactly. The House right now, just where we are in the polling, and it's early in the cycle, there's about 15 to 20 toss-up seats that right now look slight advantage to the Republicans. But again, 75 days to go, a lot of fundraising, a lot of campaigning. I would not be surprised if we have this conversation in a few weeks and it's 55% for the Democrats.